The first night, the voice came so softly that Maya thought it was the wind worrying the window frames. The house was old, a narrow rental on a lane where the streetlights pooled like tired eyes. She'd stacked all her boxes in the living room and unrolled a mattress on the floor. Somewhere in the dark, pipes clicked like a metronome. When she closed her eyes, she heard it, her name, carried on a hush that felt like breath. Maya. She sat up. The echo had no direction, just the sensation of a mouth close to her ear. She told herself it was bone-deep fatigue and pulled the blanket over her head. It came again, a little clearer, as if the speaker leaned toward her from within the wall. Maya, don't forget me. She slept in bursts, waking each time with her heart running. Morning loosened the spell. Coffee, a slice of toast, the familiar ache of starting over. She had come to the house to be brave about a life that had unraveled with careful politeness. Job gone, relationship gone, city gone. The house wasn't beautiful, but it had a door that faced a courtyard lemon tree. It felt like a beginning. By afternoon, she'd unpacked enough to pretend she lived there. Books along a sagging shelf, a lamp with a cracked shade, a framed photo of her as a child, bright smiled and crooked banged, holding the hand of a woman whose face the camera had captured in motion blur. Her mother had always moved quickly. Stand still, Maya used to say, tugging at her sleeve. When evening pulled a bruise-colored violet across the windows, the house's sounds shifted from polite to personal. The refrigerator sighed after a long day. The floorboards answered her footsteps with small protests. She kept telling herself that old wood remembers. Memory is just the shiver a house feels when you enter. At 9:17 p.m., the first whisper came again. Maya. She stood in the middle of the room and turned once, like a compass trying to decide where true north went. She knew now where it came from, not the window, not the stairwell. The sound slid from under the hallway's end, where a narrow door wore 3 coats of paint too many. The door didn't lead anywhere on the floor plan her landlord had sent. A shallow closet, she'd assumed. She walked toward it. The whisper thickened like fog close to water. Don't forget me. Her hand found the knob. Cold. Not metal cold absence. Cold. Like a coin left outside in winter. She traced the paint drips with her thumb and remembered a tactile map from another time. Her mother's nightstand. Drawer pulls smooth with use. The hollow under the bed where dust pearls slept. The bone-colored door at the back of their old apartment's hall closet that always stuck in summer. Hello? She said, feeling ridiculous. Is someone there? The door answered with a heartbeat sound. Not one she knew from anatomy videos, but the specific thud she'd felt in her palm when a small animal trembled there, trying not to be seen. Maya stepped back. She told herself she was not a person who talked to doors. But the night went on, and so did the whispering. It didn't change content, only cadence. It said her name, then a pause, then don't forget me, like a chorus from a song you learn against your will. At 2 a.m., she pulled a chair across the hallway and propped it against the knob like a child in a motel room. She slept badly and dreamed of teeth in the paint, tiny enamel crescents pressed into white layers. In the morning, the chair had slid a fraction, as if someone inside had nudged the door from the other side and then, considerate, stopped. She told no one. There is a category of strange that withers under light conversation. She went to the pharmacy for boxes of screws, to the hardware store for a hasp and a padlock. Back home, she installed them with careful hands and the bright focus of avoidance. When she finished, the door looked less like a door and more like a decision. That night, the whisper didn't come at first. Silence pooled, heavy as water. She washed plates. She scrolled. She reminded herself she was strong and rational. At 11:04, the first tiny scrape rasped through the wood, like a fingertip testing. Maya. Her mouth moved before she meant it to. "What do you want?" The door's paint smelled suddenly like rain. She hadn't noticed a scent before. She hadn't noticed she was shivering until she saw the glass of water in her hand tremble like a tuning fork. "Don't forget me. I don't know who you are," she whispered. "I don't know you at all." The reply arrived with the patient slowness of something that wouldn't be hurried. "You knew me first." She slept in the living room again. Lights on. Morning brought practicalities: a leak in the bathroom, an email asking for a resume she hadn't updated. Normal life insisted on itself, but the house had measured her. She felt it in the way the hallway seemed a touch narrower, as if the walls leaned in to catch her footsteps. She imagined the lemon tree outside, pressing its leaves against the glass to listen. On the third day, she found a key. It lay under the fridge, revealed when she chased a bottle cap with a coat hanger. Brass, tarnished, with a head shaped like a bow. It fit the lock she'd installed because of course it did. She held it to the light. The metal was scratched with marks, like handwriting. No letters she recognized, but the suggestion of writing, the ghost of intent. "You don't get to make the rules," she told the door. "I do. I'm the one living here." Silence. The kind that makes you aware of your own hum. Blood, breath, the electricity thinking. She put the key in a drawer and went about her day as if she'd won. Only when night fell did she understand that this was exactly what the door wanted, to be the only thing she could decide not to think about. At 1:13 a.m., when her phone showed her a photo memory from 7 years ago, 2 people on a beach, a woman with fog in her hair, and a girl with eyes tipped up at the corners, she texted a number she hadn't dialed in months. "I moved into a new place. Old. Weird. You'd like it." The message failed, and the failure carried a second grief. There was no one to talk to about the kind of strange that keeps you up. She got up, barefoot on cool wood. The hallway had the hush of a church. She rested her palm against the door. The paint was warmer than the air. "I'm here," she whispered, surprising herself. "I'm listening." The reply came like a sigh through leaves. "It's time. Please, don't forget me again." The padlock in her hand weighed what a choice weighs. She undid it. The hasp lifted. The screws she'd turned with stubborn, righteous force came away from the wood with a small cry. "Once," she said, mostly to herself. "And that's all." The door opened an inch, then 2. Inside, darkness so complete it felt textured. Her phone's flashlight died, as if the dark swallowed it whole. But as her pupils dragged wider, she saw a thin line of something pale at the height of her knees, then another at her chest. Strips of masking tape, softened with age. Writing on them, faint pencil strokes. She leaned closer. First words, "Don't lose." Her throat closed. The next strip read, "Mother's laugh, octave higher when lying." Another, "Smell of monsoon on concrete, like coins." She reached in. Her fingers found paper, a stack of index cards bound with twine. On each, a small square of the world she had once promised herself to keep. The closet, no. The room was deep, deeper than architecture allowed. Shelves disappeared into the dark. Bottles labeled Tuesday Light, Winter. A marble box with a cracked lid marked grandfather's last joke. "I'll see you when you're tall enough." a cloth bag with the outline of a seashell pressed through. Maya knew the handwriting. It was her own at 12, then at 19, then a careful adult version that had tried not to smudge tears. She remembered now. The closet in the apartment, the bone-colored door, the summer her mother had left for a little while, and the way memory began to leak out of her like a punctured bucket. She had built a place to keep it, a museum of what she could not carry in her head. And when they moved, the landlord had hammered the little door shut, because who keeps a room for remembering? "I didn't forget you," she said, to the cards, to herself, to a girl who had sharpened pencils down to nubs, making a ledger of what mattered. "I tried to grow around you. It's different. Don't forget me." The room breathed, and she heard the truth of it. Not threat, not haunting, a plea, memory speaking from the far end of the hallway where we store the selves we've been. She sat with the door open until the lemon tree outside rounded from shadow into green. She read card after card. Dad's keys jingle like silver insects. The word for the color of dusk on the lake. There is no single word. Make one lake blue. Evening. The taste of salt when you cry into your mouth on purpose because you want to know. When the sun finally shouldered into the house, she stood. She took the padlock in her palm one more time and set it on the shelf inside. She pressed her fingers to the door frame where her own smaller handprints had once dried in paint. She left the door open. That day, she printed her resume. She sent emails. She ate a real lunch. But the best thing she did was small. She bought a stack of index cards and a cheap pencil. She sharpened it. The spiral of shavings coiled like a soft shell. In the evening, the house felt easier, like someone had opened a window. She wrote one card. "Today, I remembered how I used to keep my life safe." She wrote another. When the door spoke, it sounded like me. She slipped them onto the first shelf, between smell of monsoon on concrete and mother's laugh when lying. That night, near midnight, the house spoke one last time. Not a whisper, a sigh, satisfied, almost sleepy. "Maya, I'm here," she said. "I won't forget." The lemon tree moved, as if nodding. In the open doorway, the dark no longer pressed. It waited, patient, like a room in a museum where the exhibit is yourself and the hours you have left to fill. And when she finally turned off the lights and lay down, the house did not ask for anything more. It only kept, gently, what she gave it.